Greetings, all you hollow-filtered Coberian captains out there, and welcome to Undeclared Bajor. This is Undeclared Bajor, Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatch. My name is Fletcher, about to say hello is Data.
Yo!
Today we're going to recap, discuss, and rate Season 3, Episode 5, Second Skin. Alternate title, Total Recall.
Oh, okay.
It's a little convoluted.
No, I got you.
We're running with it, though.
Well, because I was just now trying to think of how can I bring that episode with Troy into the mix here, and you did it, so it works out.
Face of the Enemy.
Yeah,
a way better title for this concept, but it was already taken. So,
Face of the Enemy again.
Yeah.
Honestly, this one's kind of face off. Honestly, this is face off of the enemy. No, that doesn't work either.
What year did that movie come out?
The movie Face Off? Hold on. Face Off.
I don't know.
1997.
I wonder if they stole this idea.
Just, this is October 1994, and it's, according to this one article, the most important month in cinema history.
Oh, wow.
Because we have, we have Pulp Fiction, we've got Shawshank Redemption,
Mm-hmm.
I can talk. We've got Clerks, and gets almost skipped over in this one, but one of my favorites when I was young, Little Giants with Rick Moranis. There's and also Stargate, which is a terrible movie which inspired a great TV series. So
Stargate's not a bad movie. It's a fun adventure.
I do not enjoy it. And it's if anyone was thinking about it, don't watch it with audio commentary by Roland Emmerich. He's the worst at audio commentary.
Maybe we should make an audio commentary for that movie.
Yep, I couldn't possibly be worse. I listened to him do, I think, The Patriot. Was that him?
Could be.
Yes, Roland Emmerich. So the first DVD I ever bought when I got a DVD player, because it just happened to be on sale at Best Buy that day. So got The Patriot, my first audio commentary ever. Roland Emmerich is bad. He literally, he goes, he says, before every single sentence. And it drove me insane. And then Same thing happens with the Stargate DVD.
So Roland Emmerich's review of Roland Emmerich's movie commentary skills, F.
Yeah, no, it's not,
Ensign.
Not good. Ensign, yeah. Less than Ensign. Whatever is below that. Wesley Crusher.
Flunk out recruit.
Yeah.
Our discussion will contain full spoilers for the series up through this episode. However, we will try to keep spoilers for later in the series to an appropriate minimum. We won't reveal anything too big, like the storyline where Jake gets recruited to Wizarding Academy. I thought it was a little tonally weird for the show, but
I just don't feel like Jake would make a good wizard, is all I'm saying. He's not, I guess he's like he's probably like a Gryffindor. Because of the insane overconfidence.
I wouldn't know. I'm not familiar enough with Harry Potter houses.
Gotta stay up to date, man. It's an important part of our culture.
Sure. Anyway, this episode originally aired October 22nd, 1994. By the way, do you know what movie won the Academy Award in 1994?
This is October 24th. Hey, Cat, this is the worst possible time.
It says October 22nd on Wikipedia.
Interesting. On Memory Alpha, it says the 24th. Huh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1 week. It's 1 week after last week, which was October 15th.
Yeah. Okay. That does make sense. Best Picture 94. Hold on. You gotta. Let me think.
Yeah. This is a trivia question.
Probably not any of the ones that I just mentioned because they came out late in the year.
I will tell you, I know this because another podcast I listened to just did a trivia episode, and this happened to be a question.
Okay. I don't know what else came out in 94. That was too long ago. I got nothing.
So, Pulp Fiction and what was the other one you just said?
Schindler's
Shawshank
List?
Redemption were both nominated, not Schindler's List. That was 93.
Okay. Oh, all right.
But they were both beaten out by Forrest Gump.
Oh, well, good for you, Tom Hanks, making a
So,
movie.
It was a pretty good year for movies, I suppose.
Apparently, Schindler's List won Best Film Editing that year.
Oh.
Or something. Hold on. Okay, hold on. After I gave up, I googled the 1994 Oscars, and so Forrest Gump won. Okay, because it's March 1995 is when the Oscars for the movies that mostly came out in 94 happens. That's why
Right.
Schindler's List won the Oscars that was in 94. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the thing about the Oscars. They had that same discussion on the podcast I was listening to, the Unmade podcast, which I'll plug for free, even though they don't need it. They have like 20,000 times more subscribers than we do. But it's a fun podcast.
Oh man, and Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump beat out Morgan Freeman and John Travolta for Shawshank and Pulp Fiction. Their characters there.
I mean, I think it's well deserved. I like Forrest Gump, and Tom Hanks I like in that movie.
And then Samuel Jackson gets beat out for Best Supporting Actor, but do we really feel like John Travolta is more a star of Pulp Fiction than Sam Jackson?
That's a good point. They have like exactly equal screen time.
Yeah,
I mean, John Travolta's in one extra scene.
Where he gets killed. And I don't think he even has a line. He just comes out and gets shot.
He comes out of the bathroom, then gets gunned down by like a Uzi or something.
Huh. And, that's fascinating. Okay, sorry. Continue with what we're actually talking about.
So yes, this episode originally aired October 22nd, 1994. I will say, I recently learned that both Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Next Generation were direct to syndication shows. So
that makes a difference.
I mean, it's maybe they released the episode to be aired on the 22nd, but nobody got around to airing it until the 24th or something like that. It seems like a weird thing to do. Maybe it got preempted by Nelson Mandela's visit to America or whatever was going on. Yeah. Anyway, the episode was written by Robert Hewitt Wolfe. One-man show on that one, apparently. And directed by Les Landau, who also directed the episode 2 episodes ago. So,
yep.
He's busy.
Well, and from now on, every time we talk about Les Landau, I'm going to hear like Sideshow Bob saying Les Winan after we made that connection in the previous one. Sorry, Les Landau. That's not your fault.
Yeah. Is Les Landau still alive? Unknown.
If he does, I'm sure he listens to the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was a writer or director on a TV show, I'd like to listen to people's takes on it. I have a feeling he doesn't, though.
Well, 20 some odd years after the fact, or 30 almost now.
I have a feeling most of the, if not all, the creative team from Star Trek Deep Space Nine is totally ignorant of this podcast.
Or they're not, 50-50 chance.
Maybe like...
That's how odds work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you don't know if something's true or not, it's a 50-50 chance if it's true.
Exactly.
So, let's get into this episode.
Yeah, we're really, really trying hard not to, apparently.
This is a shambles. Okay. So, diving into this episode. So, we start off by wedging in some Quark and Dax stuff early in a scene where Dax is bored waiting in the Replimat for Kira to show up for their appointment in the holosuites, and Quark uses the opportunity to get in some light creeping. Which Armin Shimmerman is having an easy run of episodes.
Yep.
These last couple.
That's true.
And I don't know if he just keeps showing up to do 3 hours in the makeup chair, or however long it takes for like these like 1 or 2 line scenes, or if they like shot this one and last week's scene, and all at the same time. They shot like his big episode. I don't know.
They both happen on like the same set. Like this one and the last one are on like the promenade set or whatever.
Yeah.
So they could have done both like back to back in just a minute.
Yeah, they both involve Dax too. So
oh, that's true. I hadn't even thought that far. Yeah.
So could have just been like let's knock some of these scenes out of the way all in one day type thing. I don't know. But yeah, so Kira finally arrives, but just as they're about to head off for their, I think if they said 0G sailing adventure.
It was some sort of sailing. Hold on.
Yeah, I think they were going to go to New Mecca or something like that.
I remember New Mecca, yes.
This begs the question, what happened to Old Mecca?
Anti-grav sailing.
Oh, okay. So I guess they put anti-gravs on the bottom of a ship and like sail through the air or something like that.
Nothing has to happen to Old York for there to be a New York. You can have both.
Yeah, but Mecca has such like specific cultural significance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, New York was named after the Duke of York.
Oh, well, he's not around anymore, so that's fair.
Who later became King
the original
James. Yeah. I think, didn't Prince Andrew get stripped of his Duke of York title? Weren't we talking about this?
We did talk about. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, we're not going down another rabbit hole. This is too quick.
Whatever. We don't care about that stuff anyway. So yeah, Kira gets a call from Bajoran Central Archives. It's a researcher wanting to know about Kira's time in Elimspur. Did I write that down right? Detention center. It doesn't matter. A Cardassian prison where Kira supposedly spent 7 days during the occupation. But Kira has no memory of ever being in that prison.
Yep.
As Kira views the records in confusion, the camera tilts up to reveal a shady-looking alien watching sinisterly.
Which will totally be super relevant.
Yeah.
Later in the episode.
This is super important. They got to end the scene with some kind of stinger, so they're like, just tilt up and reveal a weird-looking alien. Why not?
But actually, this is the first time that I've watched this episode with the subtitles on, and I always thought that they were saying Elimsburg, and then the subtitle says Elimspur, and I was like, oh, okay, I hear that now that I've read it, okay.
Yeah, I had to put on, when I was writing this stuff down, I had to put on the subtitles to and go re-look at all those scenes to make sure I had all this stuff written down right. There's some interesting spellings I wasn't expecting. Like, what is it? Coburian,
yeah.
Anyway.
Coburian freighter.
Yep. So later, Kira reviews the records with Odo and insists they must be fake because she remembers that time and they were in caves and cold, and she definitely was not in prison. But they call up the last surviving of her supposed cellmates, who puts on a good show of vaguely remembering her. He's like, one was, hey, I remember you. You had long
Curie
hair.
Something.
Yeah. He's like, Curie something. He's like, okay, good act.
Well, and it's amazing to me that she's like, I'm going to call this guy that I don't know for this information, as opposed to any of the people I know and trust who were with me at that time and could confirm that, no, you were never absent for a whole week during that period.
Well, she seems pretty sure that she wasn't.
Yeah.
So, it's like whatever mistake there is, it's on the prison side. Because if she calls up those people, they're not going to give her any new information.
That's true, but after this guy, she's like, either there's something wrong with the records or something with my memory, and I need to find out.
True.
And so I was like, but just double check with somebody you trust.
Yeah, that's true.
And then if you could get this information, then wouldn't it have been obvious that somebody is intentionally doing something to draw Kira to this place, and maybe we shouldn't send her by herself?
Yes, very possible. In hindsight is 2020, I think. Yeah. So yeah, she's like, I gotta go to Bajor, figure this thing out. So she, books passage to Bajor, and as she boards her transport, the person I shall call the Shade Alien follows shadily.
When Kira needs to go off on a quick adventure, the Defiant is not available. Neither is a runabout.
She's not in Starfleet.
Yeah, so
Unless they need to rescue her. Then suddenly we're back on the Defiant.
Yep.
So, Dr. Bashir meets with Garrick and the Replomat for, I guess, one of their usual lunches or whatever. And Garrick bemoans that the Dominion situation has put people out of the mood to buy new clothes.
Yep. Poor Garrick.
Bashir tells Garrick about his trip to Claystron 4. And Garrick again laments that exile has made traveling unsafe for him, and he fears leaving the station. So Garrick character motivations for the episode established. Garrick reintroduced in case you've forgotten him, and his basic touch points are nailed down.
Do we remember the previous appearance of Claystron 4 or Claystron 4, however you want to pronounce it?
I definitely remembered hearing it, but I could not remember where I heard it before.
It's the planet where Curzon Dax had an affair with that chick, and then her husband died, and Dax was accused of the murder.
So Bashir went back to that planet.
Apparently, they have a new treatment there for burn victims or whatever.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Good callback. So in Ops, Cisco gets a call from the Archives researcher saying that Kira never showed up for their appointment. And we immediately see why. Because we cut to a dimly lit room where a Cardassian man orders the Shade Alien to wake her. They hypospray an unconscious figure who immediately wakes up and looks in a mirror, which was conveniently right there. It's Kira, now in Cardassian form. "What have you done to me?" she says. "We've brought you home to Cardassia," says the Cardassian man.
There's something very odd about the entire sequence of events, because presumably, because this lady calls to report that Kira never made it, so presumably she's not in on the plot. But why was she doing this research and needing to talk to Kira at exactly this moment? Because if she hadn't been, then Kira wouldn't have found out about her supposed stint at Elam Spur, and this whole thing would never been set off. So I'm just like...
So I guess that agent on Bajor must have also somehow manipulated her into doing that study or something.
It's like, hey, would you mind doing a quick study on people at Elam Spur? Oh yeah, sure, why not?
He's just hanging around the Central Archives like, someone should do a study on what went down at Elam Spur. Just saying. I don't know. And she's like, that gives me an idea. That is a good point. I hadn't thought of that. So yeah, the man explains that the Obsidian Order has a program where they erase the memories of long-term deep cover operatives to keep them from getting caught or something. But I mean, they still have their DNA, so just hopefully they don't get a DNA test.
Yeah, I mean, that was the question with, like, the last guy we met who turned out to be a deep cover Cardassian agent. Although that guy seemed to did have his memory, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't Obsidian Order. But I have to the first note in here is that Robert Hewitt Wolf's original idea for this episode was O'Brien discovers that he has been a deep cover Cardassian operative for the past 20 years.
That's a little too similar to other stuff we've done.
And so all the way back to when we met O'Brien in Encounter at Farpoint, he's been a Cardassian spy, would have been this story, which is like, wow, okay. And then, do you know why they didn't do that? It wasn't because, hey, we've already done a story similar to this. No.
Uh-huh. Is it because O'Brien is off shooting the Englishman who walked up a hill and walked down a mountain?
No, although he doesn't show up in this episode, so presumably he is still doing that. But no, so it's because as they discuss this script, somebody's like, but O'Brien and a human woman have a clearly fully human child. So, like, how did that work? And he was like, oh yeah, good call. Okay, we'll make it Kira instead.
All right. I mean, yeah, Kira is obviously a way better choice, it seems like, and way less repetitive.
Yeah. Also, it would really question why they allowed him to be put on trial for potential execution, like, just a few episodes ago, if he was one of their agents.
It's like the part of the Obsidian Order that is in charge of the deep cover operatives isn't involved in that operation. What was even the point of that? To
frame the Federation for, like, like, basically give an excuse to, like, support the Cardassian side.
Right. I'm sure there's all kinds of, like, shadowy, like, operations going on within the Obsidian Order that they can't all keep track of each other. But yeah, so we're told that Kira is one of these deep cover operatives. Real name, Ilyana Gamor. The man talking is the man who trained her, Intek. He explains that they injected her with memory-restoring drugs and brought her back to her old bedroom to jog her memories. So he's like, see, there's your, like, Cardassian Boys to Men poster over there. I was really, like, it's like, oh, this doesn't look like a teenage girl's room, but whatever.
Well, it's good that her parents hadn't turned it into a gym or something.
Yeah. It's like, this is my study now, so... But you can totally sleep on that futon over there. And he's like, also, here's a recording that you made of yourself. Watch it. It's not like we live in a universe where video recordings are easily faked.
No.
It's not like every third episode has a fake video recording in it.
And the thing is, a fake video recording would have almost been more convincing because they had to rely on the fact that since we find out Kira is not Ilyana Gamor, they're like, well,
Right.
Hopefully they look enough alike that everyone will fall. Even Kira herself will be convinced by this.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing that they're doing here, but whatever. Back on Deep Space Nine, Odo and Dax report that they found signs of a beam out near where Kira was last seen.
Or possibly a disintegration.
Right. These signs could also indicate a phaser set to kill. So she was like, I guess she was just walking down the street. They were like, and they beamed up and nobody saw.
Yep.
On Cardassia, where those same two guys are always watching TV from a rooftop.
Yep. This is. I think this is the first time it's been reused.
Yep.
Like it was used. Like we saw it first in Tribunal, and then this is the first time that we've reused it.
She's just like, hey, look what's on TV. The guy talking about how children are the future again. I love hanging out on this rooftop or this balcony or whatever it's supposed to be.
But there have been some changes, apparently, according to this note, so that it's not too similar. In Tribunal, the shot starts by showing a wider angle of the city and then pans over to the two Cardassians walking into view. In this episode, it starts as one of the Cardassians turns towards the other and continues for several seconds more compared to when the original ended.
Oh, wow. I'm totally fooled.
The message on screen is also playing from a different timestamp. So that should just convince everyone.
Like a difference you would only notice if like you put the two scenes side by side. Brilliant. Kira paces in her bedroom, or Ilyana's bedroom, or whatever. Intek comes in with another Cardassian man, who is introduced as Legate Tekini Gamor, father of Ilyana Gamor. The Legate is happy to see her, but Kira is upset and insists she is not his daughter. She's like, my dad got killed by Cardassians. Bashir is closing up shop in the infirmary, so I guess if you're sick, bad luck.
Yep. When
Garrick pops in and invites him for a snack. Bashir is tired, so Garrick is like, I have important news about Major Kira. It's like, way to bury the lead on that one.
Well, snack was a euphemism for sex, and then he was going to give him the information.
Right. It's like that episode of Mad Men where Duck wants to hook up with Peggy, but he's just heard about the Kennedy assassination, so he turns off the TV before she hears about it.
Wow.
And he's like, well, now that we've done that, there's something on the news I wanted to watch. It's like, President Kennedy has been assassinated.
Oh no. I didn't know about that until just this moment.
So Kira searches her bedroom, and the Legate comes in and tells her that the bugs she's looking for are in the corner, by the window or something. He's brought her some Bajoran food, assuming that's what she's used to, but she's not hungry, or she just doesn't want to eat it. He tells Kira about his daughter's talent for art when she's, like, looking at that weird bone sculpture thing. He expresses his belief that there's not enough art on Cardassia. He says Kira's stubbornness reminds him of her mother, but that also angers Kira because Kira's mother was an icon painter who died of malnutrition in a labor camp or something.
Yeah. Probably that's 100% true.
Oh, yeah. The icon painter is an interesting job.
I mean somebody's got to paint icons.
Sure. You don't see very many icons around like the Bajoran temples and stuff, I feel like. But maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe all the painters of icons died, so...
Yeah, they all died of malnutrition.
The religion had to move away from that feature.
On Deep Space Nine, we learn that an informant of Garrick's has told him that Kira has been kidnapped by the Obsidian Order. With this information, Sisko recruits Garrick to go on a rescue mission. They've gotten some fake transit papers from Starfleet Intelligence, and Chief O'Brien has rigged up the Defiant to look like a Koberian freighter on scanners. Just don't ask to see Chief O'Brien. He's very busy.
Well, yeah, it's hard hooking up this stuff.
Yeah. Garrick doesn't want to go, so Sisko threatens to kick him off the station. So Garrick agrees on the condition that it's clear that he has no intention of sacrificing his life for the mission. He's like, if things go sideways, I'm just going to run away.
Yeah, run away in space.
Yep. And Sisko's like, all right, I believe you.
Keep telling yourself that.
On Cardassia, Intech and Legate Gamor argue about Kira's memories not returning. It seems the drug injections have not worked. They were supposed to start working after just a couple of hours. But now it's been like 2 days. Intech explains that Kira has important information, and it may be necessary to extract it by other means.
Although, once he starts asking her questions, the information doesn't seem all that important to me.
Yeah. It's like, how many people are on the space station?
Which Federation ships are on the border?
Yeah, you could easily send a guy to the space station and just see how many people are there, but...
You could scan the border and figure out the ships. Like it's really the oddest. Like, maybe he was starting with some softball questions that they could easily confirm, and then going to move on to the more serious ones.
I'm sure there's real like intel she has that he would be genuinely interested in. So he begins questioning Kira, who just toys with him. She's like, I don't know, like 30 or 40,000 people on the space station. I don't know. To try to convince her, Intech shows her the supposed dead body of the real Kira Nerys, stored for 10 years in cold storage. They save everything, even the bodies of the people they kill, apparently.
You never know when they might be useful.
I mean, especially if it's, I guess, somebody that you, like, you know, have replaced. Yeah. It might be useful to have that body. He also brings up a memory Kira has of accidentally killing a Hera cat, which he claims is one of the fake memories they implanted. But Kira still resists, and Intech insinuates that the next steps might not be so pleasant.
Well, and given that we later find out that that can't have been an implanted memory, there's never any explanation given to how he knew this thing that she never told anyone.
Right. I mean, maybe they implanted that one memory.
Like while she was asleep earlier?
Or maybe there is an Obsidian Order like guy in the hills, like watching with binoculars, and he saw it happen and like noted it down.
It's like you thought you shot a Cardassian, but it was really a Hera cat. But it turned out that there was a Cardassian there, and he made a note of this.
He's like, oh, why'd that Bajoran shoot that Hera cat? That's weird. Later, Kira uses her super skills she learned in the Resistance to open her window. Her window opening skills.
Yep.
But she is caught by the Legate. He begs her to watch the recording she was given, so finally she does, and the recording is exactly what you would expect. It's just her being like, hey, I'm about to go off on this dangerous mission to, you know, pretend to be a Bajoran so we can stop the Bajoran terrorism. And Kira's like, huh? So I don't know what Kira was supposed to get out of that, but... On the Defiant, en route to Cardassia, Sisko is wearing civilian clothes for some reason, which... I was trying to think of this. Like, why is he wearing civilian clothes? Because at first I was like, oh, maybe he's like, if he gets captured, he can say he was like part of the Maquis or something. But then I was like, but he would want to say he was in Starfleet, because like this whole mission they're going on is legit. If Kira has been kidnapped by the Obsidian Order, well, this is a totally reasonable response to that, like, that thing happening.
Right.
So, like, if he was captured, he was like, yeah, I'm a Starfleet officer. I'm recovering my first officer. And now I want, like, to, you know, I want you to contact Starfleet because you're now holding me prisoner illegally also.
The real reason is because he appears standing next to Garrick in a minute when Garrick reveals their true face to the Cardassian patrol ship. And if he had been wearing a Federation uniform, then they couldn't have gotten away with it.
Sure. Or, I mean... I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, he could have been wearing a uniform, like just, they could have been on a mission to like plant a fake guy in Starfleet or something. Odo drags Garrick to the bridge and claims he caught Garrick snooping around, so Sisko confines him to his cabin. However, at that moment, they are intercepted by a Cardassian patrol. Sisko has Dax put on a zoom filter and calls up the Cardassians to say, hey, nothing to see here, just, some Koberians delivering some stuff to Cardassia. But the Cardassian officer insists on boarding them due to increased Maquis activity in the area.
So the shot of him as a Koberian is taken from a previous episode from Duet.
Oh, yeah. I was like, that's a reused shot for sure.
Yeah. Avery Brooks just like lip syncs the first sentence and then it swaps over. And then there's a note in here that Norman Large, the original actor in the makeup, is not credited in this episode.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So yeah, Garrick is like, hey, let me talk to them. So they turn down the zoom filter or whatever. And he tells the Cardassian officer that they're on a super duper alpha red extreme mission and gives him a security code. And that apparently does the trick and they're allowed to go on their way.
Yep. Good thing his codes still work.
Yeah. So I really don't think that if Sisko was in a Starfleet uniform, that would have changed anything. Because he would have been like, oh man, Obsidian Order, secret business. I'm going to go on my way. Back on Cardassia, Intech interrogates Kira under the influence of drugs or something. It's not super clear. The Legate enters outraged and puts an end to it. Intech is like, okay, but we're going to have to bring her to the Obsidian Order building and continue this later. Once Intech leaves, Kira gets up and goes to a mirror and smashes it, which I think was one of the most impressive special effects I've ever seen on this show. Like, I mean, she hits that mirror and it smashes just right. Maybe there's a way to make a mirror that if you punch it, it smashes in just a certain way. But I was like, wow, she really smashed that mirror. I guess this is supposed to be her moment of greatest doubt or something, or maybe she's just worried about getting tortured.
I think both are acceptable.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be having some sort of doubts at some point, so because it's the whole episode, he says, is influenced by Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Sure.
And also, we can remember it for you wholesale.
Right. Which is, yeah, Blade Runner and Total Recall.
Total Recall, yeah.
Respectively. Which, I'll get to this in a little bit, but I was a little disappointed they didn't do an ambiguous ending like those movies.
Well, that's actually, the writer wanted to do that.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to, at the end, have Bashir be like, yeah, there's no way that I can say for sure whether you are originally one or the other. And it was supposed to be like, it doesn't matter who you were, it matters what you do and who you see yourself as or whatever. It's supposed to be very a big message about this. But the idea was dropped from the final version.
Yeah. It's just, those two movies are both famous for their oh my gosh, are you really who you think you are endings?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't know. I don't think it would make sense scientifically for them to be
right.
Yeah, Bashir can't tell what species she is.
I mean, that would put her in the same category as those super duper duplicate clones that O'Brien was one of. So anyway, the Legate is like, okay, we got to get you off the planet before the Obsidian Order tortures you. She's like, why would you help me? The person that you think is your own daughter. And he's like, well, because, that thing. Anyway, later he gives Kira a bracelet that belonged to her supposed mother. And then she's like, no, I can't accept this. And he's like, stubbornness runs in the family. I'm stubborn too. I was like, wait, were you married to your sister?
No.
He introduces Kira to a man named Ari or whatever, who will get her off the planet. Then Kira immediately deduces that the Legate is a dissident, and then pieces it all together that this whole thing must be an elaborate ruse to get the Legate to reveal himself as a dissident. And then at that moment, Intech walks out with 2 armed guards, clearly resisting the urge to do the villain slow clap thing. Which I actually thought he did it until I went back and rewatched, and he did not do it. But
finally, the last horse crosses the finish line. Well
He shoots Ari, and then he does a classic villain monologue, where he explains everything, and which includes the line, or it includes a moment very similar to the "I am the Senate" line from Star Wars Episode 3, the best Star Wars. He's like, this benefits Cardassia. It's like, you mean it benefits the Obsidian Order? He's like, the Obsidian Order is Cardassia. Anyway, apparently listening around the corner the whole time, and also through a door, because we hear a door open before they come in, Cisco and Garrick take this opportunity to burst in, fully up to speed on the situation.
And Cisco just throws a bag on the ground for some reason.
He's like, whoop, psh, plop. He just throws something behind Intech, and it's like, that's probably nothing.
Yeah, no one pays any attention to it, which was the whole point of the plan, apparently.
Yeah. And then the thing quickly shapeshifts into Odo, and then they disarm all the Obsidian Order guys. And then as they're all making their escape, Intech tries to pull a gun on Garrick, who immediately shoots and vaporizes him.
Yep. I mean, really, if you didn't want word to get out about what's going on here, Garrick, and to be in bigger trouble, you should have killed them all.
Yeah, that's true. I think he was itching for that excuse to kill Intech, because now also Intech knows about his moles.
But Garrick was like, "Oh, shame, I like that guy."
Yeah.
But apparently, originally the writers wanted to make Intech a recurring character. But it says, however, they decided to have Garrick kill him instead, as this would once again emphasize to the audience that Garrick is more than capable of taking a life.
Yeah. I can live without a recurring Intech, frankly. He was a so-so character.
I mean, we never get much recurring anything from the Obsidian Order. It's always Obsidian Order Dude of the Week.
Right.
With maybe one exception.
Yeah. So yeah, back on Deep Space Nine, Kira, now back to normal, has a little wrap-up session with Legate Gamor. She's like, we gotta have a little walk and talk where we wrap up all these little loose ends that haven't been picked up yet. So Bashir scans confirm that she is Bajoran, so we don't get that crazy ambiguous ending where Harrison Ford looks at the little origami unicorn or whatever. And Gamor figures that they kidnapped Kira and not his real daughter because they knew that the memory drugs wouldn't work on the real Ileana.
Or would
work on the real Ileana. They wouldn't work on Kira, and Kira would resist. And I guess injecting the real daughter with fake drugs was just out of the question. Well, and also maybe they just don't know where she is, or she's dead or something.
That's the thing. This is another one of those, there's a book for this.
That's in my notes. So Kira wonders what happened to the real daughter, and Gamor holds out hope that she's still alive somewhere on Bajor. And then I have noted, what a great subject for a book. It's
actually several books where Ileana gets to play the villain. So apparently, as we've seen kind of happen before with the child of an important Cardassian official, Gul Dukat stepped in and shuffled her away into a place that only he knew about. Although, as opposed to that guy that he let be adopted by Bajorans, this time he apparently just held her captive for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So she manages to escape, probably towards what's the end of the series. She gets her memories of Ileana back, but she still has all of Kira's memories, which drives her insane. And then she decides that she is Kira. Not only is she Kira Nerys, but she's the only real Kira Nerys, and all other Kira Neryses must go. And so she starts this by going to the mirror universe and killing the Intendant.
Oh, wow.
And then
so she basically turns into that Jet Li movie, The One.
Yeah, the Jet Li movie, exactly. And then she tries to become the emissary of the prophets in the mirror universe. And then later on, Mirror Ileana comes to the regular universe and asks the DS9 crew to help stop the insane megalomaniacal version of her that's in the mirror universe. And then apparently...
Wait, who came?
Okay, so Mirror Ileana, because
Mirror Ileana.
Yeah.
So our crazy psycho Ileana went and killed Kira and took her place.
Yeah, Intendant Kira.
And then real Ileana from that universe came over here to try to get help.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then apparently that storyline is left unresolved because the books like do a time skip to like the Star Trek Destiny / Star Trek Typhon Pact era of writing. And so we don't know. We don't know what happened after that.
I totally would have loved to see an episode though with like psycho multiple personality.
Yeah,
Ileana
right?
showing up. That could have been fun. You wouldn't even have to hire a new actress.
Exactly.
Yep. And then Gamora explains that the Mathanite government has offered him sanctuary and prepares to board a transport. But his last act is to warn Kira that Garrick is dangerous and not to be trusted. And she's like, okay, yeah. Wasn't gonna, but okay.
This is not really new information for me, but thanks.
And then she tries returning Gamora's wife's bracelet, but he insists that she keep it because she's the closest thing to family he has or whatever. And they have this sweet little moment. And then Gamora turns and boards his transport and the airlock door is closed. And then Kira's like, wait a minute. How did they know about that Hera cat thing?
Yep.
And that would have been a cool...
Yeah, see, there could have been like, maybe she is Ileana, but in a way that even Bashir couldn't detect.
Yeah.
Should have done it.
Like, she holds up a little Hera cat origami or something. She's like, wait a second. Anyway.
Paramount 1994. If you want help with your script, just let us know.
Yeah. Robert Hewitt Wolf. I think we can improve on your story. The end of the episode.
Yep. No, of DS9.
Yeah. The end of DS9.
That was a really crazy ending.
Series finale. From then on, it's just Jake at Wizarding School.
Jake. If Nog didn't get to go, he might not want to go.
That's true. I mean, that might create some conflict. I don't know.
And then Nog becomes evil because he wasn't let into Wizarding School, and
he becomes a dark wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
The space Voldemort recruits him, and this is some good novel material right here.
Yeah, right. I need to work on more crossover fiction. Apparently, Nana Visitor suffers from claustrophobia, and the Cardassian makeup made her very claustrophobic. Huh. So, after a 20-hour day of shooting, she goes to the director and she's like, "Yeah, I'm getting out of this makeup. We're gonna have to get the rest of the shots the next day. I can't do this anymore." And Les Landau's like, "No, come on, just a little more. You'll be fine." And so she starts to freak out and just physically rip the makeup off in the middle of the set.
Nice. Is it Les Landau or Cliff Bull that Will Wheaton complained about?
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on. In my brain it was Cliff Bull, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. I think it was Cliff Bull.
Yeah, there's nothing in the Les Landau article on here about a feud with Will Wheaton or whatever.
Yeah. Man, that's pretty mean, like making her keep on the makeup or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my one question. Shouldn't they, now that they know about this secret spy program, shouldn't they go around injecting everybody with this memory drug? Or at least DNA testing people?
I was about to say, just DNA test them, yeah.
Or both? To like...
Well, honestly, I think because, okay, the thing is, if you are a Cardassian spy who does not know you are a Cardassian spy, and totally believes that you are the real person that you're pretending to be, then when somebody goes around and like, hey, there's Cardassian spies hiding among us, we need everyone to give their DNA, you'll be like, oh yeah, 100%, I know I'm not the spy. Whereas if you just go around injecting people, then they're going to remember that they're the spy, and then they're going to do bad things.
So you definitely want to do the DNA test first.
Yeah.
Then bring them in and give them the memory drugs for interrogation purposes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good plan. They should do that. I recommend it.
The Federation is really bad at internal security, as we established multiple times throughout this series, and then Picard, it came up a lot. So
we have the what do we call it? The security Three Stooges syndrome, where like all the like infiltrators and double agents and stuff are just constantly canceling each other out.
Yep.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, you don't want to disrupt the balance. You'll catch the Cardassians, but you're gonna miss like the
Like the Romulans.
Well, no, because you would pick those up with a DNA test, but I was going to say, like, there might be some more of those super perfect android duplicates or whatever.
True. Yeah. I mean, or, you know, those guys that were mind controlled or whatever. I mean,
yeah. Some of those guys.
Yeah. You just don't know. Or people who have been playing that, like, crazy video game.
Right. Or, I guess, speaking of Romulans, like that time that they brainwashed Geordi to assassinate someone or something. I don't remember what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. So if you take down one double agent, then the whole, like, all the rest of them are just going to go into play and cause chaos.
Yeah, what the Enterprise didn't know is that when you were Manchurian candidating Geordi, it was actually like a Cardassian infiltrator that he was going to assassinate, and they disrupted the whole thing.
Yep. It's just, you know, all these crazy deep shadowy games that are always going on in the background.
There's one kind of monologue by Robert Hewitt Wolf, which is kind of interesting. He's extremely proud of this episode. Uh-huh. He says, without sounding pretentious, which, you know, he's going to sound pretentious after saying that.
Sure.
The theme of this entire episode could be, you can't judge a book by its cover. Everyone is wearing a quote unquote second skin. So Kira is both who she is, and she's Ileana Gamor. Legate Gamor is both a very staunch supporter of the Cardassian government and an opponent of the Cardassian government. The Defiant appears to be a Corberian freighter, but is really a warship. Garrick looks like a tailor, but is really a spy. Cisco looks like a Corberian captain, and Odo looks like a bag. There are many levels of deception throughout the show.
Wow, mind blown. Sure, Robert Hewitt Wolf, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you do you, man.
Yeah. I'm sure that was all totally intentional.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, yeah, no, that's all I got.
Okay. So, yeah, let's do some ratings. How would you rate this episode?
It's weird for me because I think that the episode is written well.
Uh-huh.
I think they really accomplish what they're set out for, and they set up this mystery that I think they have the audience actually believing that maybe this could be this thing, or at least that maybe we'll never know. Like you said, if you recognize that we're watching Blade Runner here, then you might buy that, wow, maybe it's true and we'll never know for sure before you get to the end.
Uh-huh.
I feel like all that's done well. I like the look that it gives us at some more Cardassian politics. I always like when Garrett gets to get involved. That's good. There's just something about it that I'm just like, that doesn't let it go to like captain level of good for me, and I can't even point out what it is really. I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah.
This is not topping my list of episodes that I want to watch again. Like, I think that they did it and did it well. It's a solid episode, but I'm just like, eh. But I think it's going to be high. It's not just above the line. I feel like that would be not doing it justice. So I'm going to give it a commander.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to mirror pretty much everything you said there. It's just like, I mean, it's a well done episode, but something about it just feels kind of like, you know, another episode. Like, it doesn't feel very special. And I'm actually going to say I can't quite, because I was thinking, I just can't quite get it up to Commander even. Okay. Like, it's enjoyable enough, but it's like kind of, So I'm going to give it a Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I was very close to the same.
So. Yeah, because I was like, and the thing that really was making me struggle was a Garrick. Can I give a Garrick episode less than a full Commander? And Garrick is on form. He's being Garrick. It just a little bit of a so-so episode for me for some reason. Just that's the way it clicks with me.
Mentioning Garrick, there's something about his part in it that, because he has that whole speech. He's like, you know, I'll leave you to die 100%. Yeah. No questions asked. And then as soon as they get into the slightest bit of trouble, he jumps in to get them out of it. And
yeah,
both of these moments feel on brand for Garrick to me. I can see either one of them, but putting both of them almost back to back feels weird to me. Yeah. Like he's being inconsistent within like 5 minutes.
I mean, to be fair, if Garrett gets captured in Cardassian space, he's probably just going to get executed. So
yeah, which just makes the first speech all the more like, well, you need them to get back out though, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, Garrett gets to be Garrick. I enjoy him shooting the guy and then being like, what a shame. I like that guy.
Yeah. Well, that was fun, and I believe that Garrick might have liked that guy.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got to like somebody.
He's always coming up with these crazy, like, kidnap somebody and surgically alter them to trick their father into, like, revealing his true colors plans.
This guy had some creativity, and I appreciate that as a former comrade of his.
Yep. So, yep. I guess that's that about wraps it up. You have any final thoughts?
No, I said enough.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that'll do it for us today. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. As always, check out the description where you may find links to interesting things. Did we bring up anything this episode? I don't remember.
We tangented a whole lot at the beginning, but...
Yeah, I was just in the middle of editing the previous episode when we started recording this one, so I'm getting that one and this one a little bit mixed up.
Sure, it happens.
Anyway. Or there may be nothing down there. Who knows? I'm Fletcher, about to say goodbye as Data.
Remember, look before you shoot, so you don't hit a Harakat.
That's true. Those Harakats are an endangered species.
Have your Harakats spayed or neutered. Good night.
And until next time, don't forget to kiss the Negus stick.